So here to break all of that down and a whole lot more is CEO of Geltrude Business Technology Solutions, Michael Geltrude. Michael, good morning. Okay, so far, the futures are up. Do you see a complete rebound anytime soon?
No, I don't see a complete rebound anytime soon. I think the markets are a little bit nervous right now. Millions of Americans are nervous right now. And why? Because they're opening up their retirement accounts, their brokerage accounts, and they're looking at their balances as if it's their bank account numbers. They see that they're going down and they're scared. What we've been seeing is that it's a little bit of a roller coaster. Now, roller coasters may be fun when you go to the amusement parks, but investors are not happy when the market is a roller coaster. It makes them scared. It makes them nervous. And I think we're all feeling that way a little bit. Inflation has been on the rise. The AI boom seems to be cooling down a little bit, but I think we're going to learn a lot this week. I think the next few days are really going to tell us just how scared people are.
Yeah, it's very concerning when you open up your retirement savings and you see that number go down. Michael, I want to ask you, I've been hearing a lot of people say, well, hey, wait a minute. You can't blame all of this on the Biden-Harris economic policies. You can't blame all of this on them. In your opinion, is that a fair statement to make?
I think it's a little bit in the middle, if there is a middle here, right? Policies matter, elections matter, and people vote on where they want the direction of their 401ks to go. I think we're going to see a lot of stuff happen in November, and especially leading up to it. The Fed right now has a lot of decisions to make, and I think that's putting it lightly. I think we're going to see rates having to come down in order to keep the market maybe inflated a little bit more than it should be. Yeah.
I think the most important thing you said was policies matter. Policies make a difference. Okay, so some more bad news. Credit card debt hitting a record 1.14 trillion, yes, trillion with a T, dollars. Michael, this is a $23 billion more than what we saw last quarter as ordinary Americans continue to struggle to make ends meet. I mean, we've seen the unemployment rate rise 4 consecutive months. Honestly, the question I have for you is what's going to happen when Americans are just no longer able to pay off their debts?
Before I jump into that, I just want to make one statement. Stop borrowing money on credit cards in the first place. It's a very dangerous game to be playing. Imagine if every time you needed money for the next week, you went to the bank and you said, hey, I can't really make it through this week. Can you just float me a little bit? Just get me through the week. The bank would be like, I think you're out of money and no, we're not going to give you any more. But that's how the credit card companies make money. They want you to fall into this dangerous zone of you're going to have to pay them interest. That's really how they make money here. Yeah. But I'm sure you've heard the phrase before, and many of the viewers have as well. If you can't afford to pay for something in cash, you probably can't afford it in the first place. And the other thing I'll say here is that credit cards give you a false sense of security that you can walk into any store that you want with a piece of plastic and buy anything you want. But at the end of the day, if you don't make those payments, the interest rate on credit cards is astronomical. I mean, we're talking 25%. It's just crazy.
Yeah, it is funny what you said. I mean, these credit card companies, they're not your friend. Why do you think that the second you go to college, they try to sell all these college students one? And when you bring up interest rates, according to LendingTree, they're the highest that we have seen since 2019 when they first started keeping track of it. Okay, so sticking with high prices, Italian chain Buca di Pepe is now filing Chapter 11 bankruptcy as company plans to restructure over 40 of its locations. So the restaurant cited increasing food and labor costs, which have already caused it to close 12 locations. My goodness, we've talked about Red Lobster. There's also World of Beer, Tijuana Flats. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. Under Bidenomics, these chains cannot stay in business. I mean, how do restaurants get ahead under such expensive conditions, Michael?
Well, first of all, let me say I really like Buca di Beppo. I know it gets a bad reputation as being somewhat in the Olive Garden category, but as an Italian American, I still really enjoy it. I think their family style options are great, and I don't want to see them pull back on that. I think that's really important. People go to these restaurants for a positive experience, and I think everybody is used to going to their favorite restaurant and noticing that the portions are getting smaller and the prices are going up, which it's just not great. No one wants that. Everybody wants to go and say, wow, look at this meal. It's great, it's big, and it's at a great price. But what I would tell restaurant owners here is focus on the experience. Get people in the door, because people are willing to pay a lot of money for a good experience at a restaurant.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, these restaurants, they just cannot keep up with this inflation. And not only that, you've got these private equity firms that are coming in, buying up the land, jacking up the leases. And that's what happened to Red Lobster. And they just cannot afford to keep up with this. Michael Geltrude, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Such a pleasure having you on.
Thank you.
All right, everyone.